Since Ukraine launched a daring assault into Russia and captured several towns, the world has been waiting to see how Vladimir Putin will respond. It's the first time since World War II that foreign troops have occupied Russian territory. The incursion appeared to take Putin and Ukraine's Western allies by surprise.
Was the White House made aware prior to?
No.
Putin warned he could use nuclear weapons if Russian territory came under threat, but there are no indications so far that Moscow plans to go nuclear. So what will Putin do next? Is his power under threat? And could this incursion determine the course of the war? Ukraine has focused on defending its territory and resisting occupation since Russia invaded in 2022, but now that has changed.
Nobody expected Ukraine, which is in a defensive posture, to launch an incursion into Russia.
They did keep this preparation as a secret, and definitely the Kremlin and many of the outside observers have been caught off guard.
Strategically, they're doing this for international and domestic reasons, to give confidence in NATO that they still have the will to fight and that they need more equipment. So this is a way to rally NATO's support, which has been flagging.
Зараз надзвичайно важка ситуація на кількох частинах фронту, саме там, де російські війська зосередили максимум резервів. Вони користуються затримками в допомозі Україні, і це дуже відчутні речі.
Ukraine had three clear goals in mind with its counteroffensive in Russia.
To try and push Russia into taking and withdrawing some of the forces from Donbas, where Russia has, at the moment, an advantage over Ukrainian forces, and instead relocating them into Kursk, decreasing the risks for Ukrainian troops in Donbas. Second goal was to create a buffer zone between Russia and Ukraine, making it harder for Russia to hit Ukrainian territory from those Kursk territories. Third, to have a certain leverage over Russia in case the next US administration launches some peace talks between the two countries.
Allies of the two sides had predictably different reactions.
What I think about Kursk, bold, brilliant, beautiful. Keep it up. Putin started this, kick his ass.
Зачем это Украине, я не понимаю. Четко определялись с ними и довели до них эту информацию, что без ответа любые провокации не останутся.
Ukraina har rätt att försvara sig själv inom och utom sitt territorium.
Putin has continued his rhetoric that Ukraine is an evil force that needs to be defeated.
И так как мы боролись с террористами, нам сегодня приходится бороться с теми, кто творит преступления в Курской области. Мы добьемся этих целей и на этом направлении, в борьбе с неонацизмом.
Putin gave himself time to consider a response to the incursion and will have weighed up his nuclear options.
They're going to try to encircle and annihilate these forces. They could even drop a tactical nuclear bomb, but I think it's unlikely. He wants to keep the nuclear threat in reserve against NATO as long as he can.
The incursion has exposed the Russian bluff.
Ми зараз маємо надзвичайно важливу ідеологічну зміну, а саме вся наївна, ілюзорна концепція так званих червоних ліній щодо Росії, яка панувала в оцінках війни деякими нашими партнерами.
Ukraine has invaded Russia. We did not see Russia actually going nuclear. In fact, they're scaling down the threat. The propaganda tries to keep quiet about it. They're pretending everything's under control.
The war has now been forced into multiple front lines, and there are questions about how Putin will approach each of them.
The military has kept its eye on the ball, which is their invasion and occupation of Ukraine, and not to be distracted by this incursion.
The Kremlin does not have a lot to showcase to Russian audiences. It's one village after another, nothing major. So it seems that they want to be able to showcase at least some success before they relocate the forces.
Zelensky, on a really good day, would hope that this incursion would distract the Russian military from its offense to a defense, but the Russian military is not falling for that trap.
The Kremlin also announced that it will be using some internal forces, like Russian security services or Rosguards, in order to take the situation under control.
They have strategic patience. They know that they can evacuate those areas and that they can marshal additional forces around them in the future.
The Kremlin can just also announce another wave of mobilization. That is, however, something that the Kremlin has been trying to avoid.
I think he believes that this Ukraine is his to win over time. And he's betting his strategic patience, his resources will outlast Zelensky. And he's also watching the Zelensky administration becoming growingly unpopular in Ukraine, and he's going to try to feed that through disinformation.
State-run news has downplayed the invasion, and Putin's image among the Russian population has not changed.
The incursion into Kursk has not tarnished Putin's image for a few reasons. One is that he's got complete media control.
Провальная с военной точки зрения вылазка украинских боевиков преследовала задачу обеспечить громкий медийный эффект. Каждый день Киев теряет контроль над все новыми территориями и ради громких заголовков готов на любые преступления.
State-controlled TV channels are trying to present the Kursk invasion as the new normal.
Treating this like it's a natural disaster, like a big forest fire, and that's it.
Nothing happened. Dear Russians, please continue your life as usual. In a couple of months, we'll take the Kursk territories back.
So for all these reasons, I think the Russian people and Putin's image domestically have been far downplayed versus in the West.
Putin's power in Russia looks to be untouchable, but could the incursion change that?
Personalistic autocratic regimes are extremely resilient, comparatively speaking, and Putin's regime in particular is very harsh, quite resilient, and even a radical defeat in this war, which is nowhere near the horizon, right? It will undermine his popularity and support, and it will make it harder to control Russia, that is for sure. But the existing quantitative comparative evidence tells us that autocratic regimes of Putin's type usually end naturally with just natural passing of the political leadership. The Russian society and the Russian elites so far have not proven capable of having certain agency and of radically, influencing Putin's positions and actions. So even if he were to lose this war, it also remains a question to what extent society and the elite will be able to use that as an opportunity to replace the Russian leader.